Hello everyone, I hope you guys are having a really nice day. My name's Eva. Thanks so much for joining me here in this video. I just finished putting together the weekly recording, and the theme is really strongly this kind of like sacral rage and correction for divine feminine reversal, divine feminine subjugation, which is a theme that keeps coming back up, yes. Like dark mother wounds, a lot of that, but there have been really deep themes, I think, of really deeply held anger coming through in the collective, personally, forever, but especially, it feels especially relevant now. You might be clearing out really, really deep layers of anger, and it could come out in really what might seem like silly ways. Like, I know for me, sometimes when I'm clearing really, really deep anger around issues, I'll notice it when I get like really touchy in the car. So sometimes something really small could happen, but it like really kind of sets you off. And I know that I stop and I'm like, why is this making me so angry? Like, this is not, like, my emotional response to this is like not in alignment with what's going on here. So you could be working through those themes, and then, things happen in your life and you're like, God, I'm so angry. So the purpose of this healing we're doing right now in this video is to assist with that, to let it come up. If you feel it in any kind of way, like physically in your body, you notice it somewhere in some kind of tension, you're like clenching. Anger is a manifestation of fear. So there might be lots of things that come up that you feel like could be unrelated. Remember not to cling to what's coming forward, but just to letting yourself sort of witness it, let it flow through you for release. Understand that it is coming up because that's what you asked for as well. But we'll start getting into nice deep breaths, getting into the access you have to the center of all beingness, to your eternal life in the one, so that we can get in a really nice state of compassionate witness for all that we intend to bring up and to clear. Remember, we clear it from us by being able to perceive its unreality. It's not real. It's not inherent to our being. It is not who we are. Mistaken ideas, just wrong. We were just wrong. There's no consequence except for having believed that we've suffered. There would be no consequence to holding on to them more, except further ideas and experience of separation, which is fear, which will always be fear. But I say that because guilt always comes in at that point when we start to really bring up these things, and then we kind of tend to bury them deeper. Ooh, I don't want to look at that because I'm going to get in trouble, right? That was a big theme of what came up in this week's sort of website offering, is this idea of feeling like you're going to get in trouble, like someone's going to be mad at you for anything. I mean, you can live your whole life that way. It doesn't have to be brought up by specific situations, although it certainly could be. But that sort of general kind of anxiety feeling of, well, when is the shoe going to drop? When am I going to be punished for having just existed wrongly? There's an anger around that, because that's not how we're meant to live. And so there are parts of self that rage against that. That could cause you to push people in situations away, again, out of fear, out of anticipation of the past being repeated. So just holding space for those parts of self that are still hiding, that are still very angry, that are rageful. We show them the light of the truth, yes? We show them that what they're holding on to, which is us, right? They're not different from us, and other people aren't either. So through this process of forgiveness, forgiving ourselves, forgiving others, understanding our oneness with them in the field is the only way that we could possibly heal. And it is the only way we could unify. So letting yourself expand into that oneness, to that awareness of that oneness with all others and with all of these parts of self, in neutrality, in compassionate witness, in sort of what comes through as like enlightened perception, right? Perceiving the false as false, recognizing what is true within all of these forms, which is the eternal life of all that is. We put our awareness, our perception into that light of all that is, and we expand it because love is only expansion. We recognize it from both ends. We recognize self meeting self, and we expand that awareness of the self. There's no room for the false in that awareness, right? When we work in this way, we focus on the healed state. Because we are in bodies and these different layers of density, what we ask for it will come up into our awareness. The practice is seeing it from the eyes of unity. Kana yono sonti bata kani kana woto a poa shono kontahai ho son chimi ani kana hundoro hini sana yonso aishi. Hini kana osso toa pao kono uin sono shono ani tarato. This is really coming forward as letting go of anger around having been forced to do things in many and any different contexts that is relevant to you or that you can think of. Having to do things you don't want, being forced to do things against your will. Negation of the self, anger for negation of the self. We call in forgiveness, the presence, the energy, the awareness of forgiveness, spirit bringing that through. We must intend for it, we must choose it. Konapayo konipayos ori kara ori mana ininian toru itis now. Honu wanto shono anas, honu anas arahion so ayo shimain, hu wition toi piashi. This is what I thought it was going to be. This is deep. Getting in and speaking to those deep layers of self. That's however this comes to resonate for you. Inner child, past life, other people, whatever. Kima no shini and soki, they are all the same. Kina to koamai soto antayoto ana wondo ana yonso ayos. Hunimianto kana kontosh. Remember, we only perceive separation, it's not real. Hinia soncha karak uhyap on tukonav noais. Hyotoayash atoyoto ana paesi ait. Ononto amashonto is ito apua itian sato. Hunu anayon to aush o to apu tehini monoshana. Satu karahiti sonto ashoto anahana. Onto kanayot otu ai I onumono soncho oro hitoyosuku awoshono inzarato. Hui pau ku iosu I. Hyunto yianatu kara kuni insara o awoshi. Hunun tapata hita kana inzara o apayonu. Antokoam on chanayos on sarayo tokinahini in hani ana on saraya shi on so aiti taoko on sono unterihini indri unraveling. Let it unravel from you. Huyon suni panchurut. Understanding, always I like to remind us of this. I need it for myself as well. We don't learn about ourselves from dissecting illusions. Hini sonso titi shunso. Do you want to be free? Or do you want to feel justified in your anger? Do you want to be free of it? Do you want to try to understand something false? Or do you want to know yourself in the light of the truth? You have to ask yourself this question when you're doing this work. Because the more you dissolve limitations between these parts of self, between dimensionalities, the more you're going to see, the more you're going to be aware of, because the information is there. There is more to life than what we see, right? So once you expand into your awareness of it, still within the world of dreams, but it's very easy to get distracted by that information. It's important to hold the center of your being. Always remind yourself what you're doing this for and what it really is that you want. Kanayon so kanayon to konti kono anta yisnato soncharapo atasni kintiti. And don't limit yourself. Don't get small. Don't accept smallness. You might think you've gotten to a certain level and now that's all there is. If it's still within duality, there's more. Okay? Kina hundi pasonchoko anta kana sonchoko ariki urhuto. Kion su anj ui sono undo anaindi kinya ision chai. Sui shansayo son chamas. Sunimanto shansiti. Again, this idea of unraveling these stories that are held over your life, understanding that you're the one holding them. They might have appeared to have come from other people, the way you were raised, your parents, society, school, the government, whatever, nationalities, cultural, whatever. You chose them. This isn't about taking blame or guilt, right? It's about understanding how this world is manifested from our being. The importance of this cannot be overstated. If you understood that, you wouldn't need to practice, right? If we really understood that, if we really knew it, you don't have to practice what you know, right? So if you really knew that, all of this teaching would be moot because you would be able to perceive from where you are making this up. That's what all of these codes are really for, is to dissolve all of what you're holding in between that awareness. But that ability is always within you, and you're doing it. You're already doing it. It's not like you learned how to manifest. This is how the world is always perpetuated. You're always doing this. You're doing it right now. It's just be quiet for a second and to accept that you're doing it, that you're already doing it. To let yourself sort of witness how it's done based on the belief that you are currently holding, and to see how powerful you are to change it when you consciously make that effort. But it's constant effort, yes? I mean, that's not fun, right? Like, I don't know, some people want this to be like all magical and fun. I don't believe in magic, and it's not always fun because what we believe sucks. We believe in death, we believe in suffering, we have pain. These things are not fun to look at, but we must be brave. Go right through the center. See that they are not you. You must go right through the center of them to see that they are not inherent to your being. Don't be afraid of this process. You don't go alone. You go with the light of the eternal. You go with all eternal beingness because that is what you are. Kia sanchi taun to ani taun sokoniman. Toantai sanchara karato sotayisna trato kontoin. Shamaun sun tipati sana tataisa to ataiti atakinat. Inin tato sonchoku anakara to shuo ihanapoto. Hyondo anashono konto kinat. You have to understand the power of your mind so you know what it means to wield it. Kiana shonsokunitin sanando shombiti sunsoki ais. Shayo sunsononti shana kondosoti pataruhyun sukinat. You have to see that you're one with every living being so that you can see how the choices that you make in your thoughts affect all of those beings. Saratoshon sokinato e sonchokono antati kana hindata isanta yoso. Hyosoni batata isato shana kana dia sara hyotoko ayaya nut. Kunapaye sansoti ayashon sorepia sarato shoku yisakonto ai. It is given us to perceive from all levels. The perception might not be what you're used to, but it doesn't mean that you're not perceiving from it. There's a different perceptual set from it, from every sort of layer, I guess, or instruction set of physics, of dimensionality has its own sort of rules. But it's very important to understand that we made those rules. At every single level, those rules do not exist outside of our making them and giving meaning to them and then holding ourselves to the meaning that we gave it. You can't hold on to those and expect miracles because miracles don't work within those laws because these laws are made like against unity. So it has to be seen. It has to be seen that you made this. It has to be seen that you're not going to be able to get out from within the laws that you made against finding yourself. And perhaps for a message that's coming through is, you've done a lot of looking. And I found this to be true for myself. And this is a testament to how powerful our productions are. Creation is of love. Everything that's made by the ego is just false making, production. But it's made with the power of our mind, which was given full capability by the Creator, by the one that knows, the one that is, the one that made us as itself. Okay, so the ego is coming up with anger at you for having seen, and it wants you to stop. That's when it starts like slinging shit, right? Hinsarato shanitati hana unta pata sonso iato kana untu ai. Hiahusun chama sana hionso aniton sono rohito koashon sokinatit. This is like catching it in its process. It's like taking it's like in The Wizard of Oz, when everybody thinks that the wizard is some magical being, and then they move the curtain back and it's like the man behind the curtain, right? It's like he's got all these levers and layers, and you can see that this magic trick is nothing, right? It's all machinery. It's not coming of his self. He does not have the access that he is proclaiming to have. He doesn't have the power that he's proclaiming to have. That's just like seeing the ego for what it is. The ego has no power of its own. It's the power that you've invested in it. You made it up. You give it all the power with the power of your eternal beingness. That's why it's so easy to get lost in the dream, because it's so vividly real to us, because we've made it. That's our power. So yes, the intention of this healing is to clear anger. But the answer to all of this is, when you work in the unity field, is that there is one problem. You think that you have a million different problems, but you have one problem. And there is one solution to that one problem that you have, and that is that none of it's real, you made it all up, and that it could be gone as soon as you don't want it anymore, because of what you are. So it's helpful to us to hold specific intentions, because we see in discrete ways and we believe in discrete things. But in terms of what heals them, the answer is always the same. And so the messages that always come through sound the same, because there's only one way to really heal. And so what I could offer you in the most good, in the highest expansion, in the truest perception, would be how you learn how to do that for yourself. How you learn to equate all of your problems as one problem, and bringing the light of truth, bringing the only solution there could be equally to all problems at once. Kinato son choko ayo son soni taya konuyon to ide isu konin ponte sanayoto. Sayo shonin bosonian so hiati so shini tritis. That's why I think, and I believe, it's most beneficial to hold your awareness of the holiness. Drop in, sing up, further in, further up, right? Whatever you resonate with, how you emanate in the field, how you dissolve your limitations to expand and accept your awareness of the oneness that you are, and you are being at that time. In that moment of self, you are being. That heals. That is what healing is, because you are healed there. We make it very complicated. It is very easy. What you have to do is accept that. You have to believe it, and we don't believe that. And so these things unravel in what appears to be discrete form, or ideas, or manifestations, situations, people, traumas, memories, lifetimes, archetypes, whatever. And in our awareness, in our continuity of our ego, it might look like it happens in layers. It might look like it happens piecemeal. But don't limit that. Don't put limitations on that in your mind. Don't have that construct, because it doesn't work like that. It's working at a level that our egos cannot understand. But when you invite in limitation of process, it will start to follow that process. But if you don't have any limitation on the way that it's going to happen, within and without, at deeper layers and what we perceive to be more expanded layers, that's when you invite in the miracle. That's not up to you. It's not up to your individuation. It is the one. It's yourself and the one. It's important that we increase the definition of what you is, right? In what I just said, the you would be this like individuated personality, when in reality the you is the one field. So it's not like you're inviting some other being in to do this for you. You have to put your perception from where you really are, as much as you could do that, because that's not really of perception, but seeing yourself from that place so that you can allow it to move through you in this realm. But it'll do what it will do, which is unify. Don't try not to put direction on that or limitation. It's hard. I know that it's hard, but that's the answer we're all looking for. But that being said, the codes that come through on that allowance are quite powerful. And because we experience and we exist at all of these different layers, right? We see ourselves as like the body. And Eva is this person walking around in this body. But I'm also every cell, and I can experience to some extent myself from every part of myself. And that extends beyond the limits of our bodies as well as the field, as the different consciousnesses in the field. You can perceive from there as well, so you can feel into all of it. I kind of lost track of where I was going with that. So the codes will feel like something. It'll feel like, oh, this feels heavy, or this feels like I'm lighting up, like I'm releasing, or this feels like I'm working through something. That's what happens when we cough, when we yawn, when we cry, when all of these, when you laugh, when all of this comes through, when you feel like it's recoding, right? Like little latches moving or keys opening or reconstruction, rewriting. You can sense that. You can see, sense, feel that. So give yourself rest, right? It's all movement. It's all moving. It's all movement always. Light moves on waves. I think we're going to end it there. Thank you so much for joining me. This did turn into something slightly different than what I said in the beginning, but it kind of always does. It always goes back up to this. This is how you learn how to operate in the unity field, how you allow yourself to experience yourself in the unity field, so that you can see how your mind works, so that you could stop choosing to hurt yourself. You could stop choosing out of fear. That's the empowerment that we can give to each other, is this sort of assistance with access, or sort of providing an opportunity for you to make these choices on your own. Yes, you're not giving your power away to someone to do something for you. You're being empowered within the self by sort of seeing where it's being offered and putting yourself in the awareness of your oneness in that place. So I hope that this was helpful to you, and I hope that you all have a really fabulous afternoon. And remember to hydrate. Remember to, I would say, what wants to come through is to sit in your oneness. Bless those around you. You don't have to say it. Bless them in your recognition of their one life, and that is all living beings. And everything that you see, everything that you sense, everything that you hear, everything that you touch, everything that you feel or remember, that is streaming with the beingness of the one, because it streams from you, and that is what you are. It is in everything you see because it is you, and you have given what you see life. So now we're really going to end it. I hope that you guys have a really good day. Oh, sign up for my newsletter, because that's when I launch the healings, but I'll link the most recent one in the description below. One-on-ones are live if you want to do a face-to-face live type thing. I also offer to do that like remotely if you're interested in like chilling and you don't want to get on Zoom and you just want like distance and I'm doing it at the same time. We can absolutely do that. I can send you notes after. Lots of recorded stuff. Thank you to everyone for participating in the birthday discount. I had so much fun doing all of that work in the field with you guys. Thank you so much for the opportunity to do that work with you. And yeah, I think that's it for now. I hope everybody has a really good afternoon and a good day, or whenever you're watching this, a good week. God bless you all. Thank you.